team coming along in preseason now?
We've got about 2 weeks before our first private exhibition, and then we open up the beginning of November for real. So we got about 2.5 weeks left. It's amazing how much we don't have in, and I leave practice every day going, man, we got a lot done because we have a lot to cover. It's just the biggest adjustment for our 8 newcomers is defense. The intricacies of the defense, the difference between high school defenses and college defenses are just night and day. It's almost like a completely different game because the offensive players are so much better, the schemes are so much better, and there's a lot of difference between the way the guys were coached and their backgrounds. So we're spending a lot of time with that. We're beginning now to start working on some of the scouts for some of the early opponents. So in doing that, I'm having to do 2 things. One, teach different actions that we're going to need to defend and that we're going to need to see, knowing that with this group we'll be seeing stuff for the first time we see it. And then the second time we go through that action, it'll be the second time we see it. And that's just the difference between not having that experience. And then we're going to begin to start preparing for our opponents a little bit and see what works and what doesn't. The effort and the attitude have been really good. The want-to is there, which is what you want. And today and tomorrow will be pretty hard physical days because I am going to give the team the fall break off. We've done that before. It's always been a good time for them to get 3 or 4 days off because after that, it'll be all day, every day.
You talked, when we talked with you a couple weeks ago, you said Samir had really stepped up his work ethic. Has he continued that through preseason practice?
Yeah, I mean, Samir's got ability. He's going to be one of our top offensive options. He's a leader. It's just he's going to get a lot more attention than he did last year. He's going to get the kind of attention that Jared got or that Bryce got or that, as you would expect. And so how he's able to handle that, we'll have to go through and see that. But he's done great. He's worked hard, and he's shown good leadership.
D'Angelo mentioned that Stretch has been really vocal for a young guy.
Yeah.
How much has that stood out to you?
When you talk about, he's like Stretch is one of those guys that you could put in a dictionary, and like under model student athlete, there's a picture of him in that book. I mean, that's him. Or an Auburn, a young Auburn man. He is hardworking. He is dedicated. He wants to be coached, and he is a great communicator on the floor. And I got I got 18 guys on the roster, and 17 are American born. He's Nigerian born. He's the best communicator, right? But he speaks the language now, and he's motivating. He's fun to be around, and he's going to be a really good player for us someday.
What does he bring to the table, maybe that you haven't had in terms of a guy that can do something?
Well, I think defensively he's ahead of his offense. He's a shot blocker. He is a communicator. He's right now the best ball screen defender that I have at an inside position because he'll go out there and he will impact that ball screen. Like a lot of times when you see a big kid, you say, well, fine, let's bring him out in the ball screen and let's take advantage of his size. And they're going to see Stretch jump on a ball screen once or twice. They'll never bring him out again. So that's a good thing. That's the way you want it to be.
Any other newcomers catch your eye so far?
Well, obviously Isaac Okoro physically has got the ability to step in earliest amongst the newcomers. A lot of it is simply going to be based on opportunity. Like the guards have the better opportunity because we lost Jared and Bryce, and so there's more opportunity there. I am really happy with Jalen Williams. I'm really happy with Javon Franklin. I'm really happy with some of our other forwards, Alan Flanagan. They've got returners at their positions, so it's going to be a little harder for them to make as much impact as, say, Terrell Jones. Terrell Jones it's he and Javon McCormick. He's doing a good job, but it puts him ahead of where some of those other big young kids are because the opportunity's there, not necessarily because they're not doing a great job. So I got to keep those young inside players ready, willing, able to help this year's team, but as much as anything, ready to take over next year.
D'Angelo said that Isaac kind of reminds him of Mustafa physicality. Is that an apt comparison there?
Mustafa was probably a better scorer. Isaac is a much better defender. They're both good rebounders. I think it's a fair comparison. But remember, Mustafa was was a first-team All-Freshman as a freshman, and that would be. And I agree with Dangel. Isaac will be that as well.
Samir said he's working on his leadership and finishing at the rim. He made good points. What did you see from that?
Well, Samir's always had a good Euro step. He's already had the ability to 1-2 and get to the rim, and he's done a pretty better job with a little bit more size and strength to finish. And so, yes, he's done that. At the same time, I want him, catching and sticking. And look, if he's open, I want him to shoot the basketball. He's always been a put the ball down the floor first guy.
How's Jamal kind of fit in? I know how much that year being around the program helped him last year.
It's helped. I think with Jamal, he's got experience. He's got ability. He's really improved his outside shooting. I want him to take his knowledge and be able to make the other 4 guys better out there with his ability to communicate, with his having been there and done that before. Even though it's his first year on the floor at Auburn, it's his second year in the program, and so he does need to be more aggressive. He does need to be more assertive to take advantage of what he knows and what he can do.
So have you had a chance to read up on the California NIL law yet?
I read up on a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things that has just gotten lost in this whole discussion is just how much the NCAA has done in a really positive way to make this a more realistic scholarship. I've just called it a realistic scholarship for 20 years, for the last 20 years, in the sense that tuition, room, board, books, and fees, it's not realistic. There is a true cost of attendance. There's a lot of cost involved with going to college that aren't in just tuition, room, board, and books, and these kids have certainly earned that kind of scholarship. To our best and brightest students on campus in all our different fields, they were on bigger scholarships that encompass those things more than just athletes. We've now given them a scholarship that allows them to not have to work because this is their work. That's gotten lost in the translation. I mean, a lot of, right now at different schools, between $6,000 and $7,000 a year per student athlete, and they've earned it. They absolutely earned it, and it's for all student athletes. I do agree that what they've got to do is they've got to take the system that we have and make it better, and find a way to have the athletes be able to benefit from their image and their likeness without changing the whole system. And I think there's a way to make it better. I think they're on the right track, and that's what I hope that they'll find a way to do. Because I think intercollegiate athletics has had an incredible impact on this country over the last 50 years, just from a standpoint of diversity, the way it's integrated our society, and that sometimes gets lost in the discussion, and that's going to continue. And the university system and what we do with the NCAA, it's not broke. We just got to continue to make it better, and I think we're on that path.
Coach, you're about a month away from signing day. How do you feel like this class is coming along, and how much does that Final Four appearance help you guys?
Well, I mean, look, the good news is we're able to be involved with really good players because it's Auburn and because we got to the Final Four. That's the good news. The bad news is, we're losing really good players to places like Duke and North Carolina, and we never even would be recruiting guys like that. But I'm not interested in losing guys. So it's a little good, it's a little bad, it's a little ugly. I can recruit them for 3 years, and they can recruit them for 3 weeks, and we're going to lose in the recruiting battle to great places like that. So that's been frustrating.